Thank you. We lined up. Biblical Geography Lecture 6, Part 2. All right, we are. Page 3, 19th Dynasty and the Hittites. In 320 BC, a new line of rulers came to power as the strength of the 18th dynasty ebbed away. Do you love history?
Yeah.
I don't love history. One reason is because there's all these dates, people's names,
Don't try to remember.
odd things. What?
Just read it and don't try to sit there and remember it.
No, but if you were... I mean, I don't read stuff just to read it and not know what I'm talking about or think about it. So I always want to be able to remember this, and it's too much. So you know what I do? I don't study history. Let's go on. In the face of a Hittite threat centered in Asia Minor, the 19th dynasty kings vigorously reasserted Egyptian claims over Palestine after neglecting the region during the reigns of the recent evil king Akhenaten and his successors. For centuries, the Hittites held central Asia Minor. See up top there? Haiti. Well, Hittites. Central Asia Minor. By about 1350 BC, Hittite king Shupalumilumia began to encroach on territory previously under Egyptian control. So king what? Shupalumiluma.
Just call him Shoop.
Shoopster. That guy, that dude, came down from way up there, sometime long ago. It's kind of like this would be in a wrapped high school or wrapped elementary school. That's how they would say it. Or maybe just like a trailer park high school so we don't get, I don't want to be accused of racism. But, this kind of is making it real simple for us. Heavy metal school there. Are we okay now? All right. Okay, good. Moving their administrative center from Thebes to the north, the 19th dynasty pharaohs established a new capital on the ruins of Avaris, the old Hyksos stronghold. What were Hyksos? Foreign rulers. Renaming the city to be Ramses. See the map? You see down there?
Mm-hmm.
And, well, at least in Egypt, I see Pi Ramses. Is that what they're talking about?
I think so.
Yeah, that's all I can figure out.
Heliopolis.
Look at the map. For my students, I'm looking at the map. Just kind of browse over it. Okay. Going on, though. Let's go on. Seti I and Ramses II and Merneptah campaigned northward through Palestine, again leading military forays as far north as the Euphrates River. Find the Euphrates.
Way up there.
Yeah, there it is. Screaming by there at the top right. A stele or stele is inscribed stone. A stele found at Beth Shan tells of Seti I's victory over Habiru, just southwest of the Sea of Galilee. In his 5th year, Ramses II, perhaps the greatest builder of monuments in Egyptian history, battled the Hittites led by the Muwattalis. See, this is why I don't study history. These word what? The Muwattalis to a gun battle at Kadesh. See map on the Orontes. So where is these places? Orontes, Kadesh.
Kadesh is still over
There's
there.
Kadesh in the middle, by the Sea of Galilee. Right in the middle, well, a little bit down from center.
Yeah, by Aram.
Aram. Yeah. Okay, we found that. We know what they're talking about. Oh, there's Kadesh. Oh, go up north a little bit, though.
Yeah.
Up north a little bit, you see Kadesh on the Orontes. Oh, there's 2 Kadeshis. That's the one they're talking about.
Two of them. That's what's
Yeah.
One with an E, one with an A.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Kadesh and Kedesh, yeah, you're right. Later he concluded the peace treaty with the Hittite king Hattusilus, guaranteeing Egyptian sovereignty in Canaan. Well, you don't have to know most of those. A stele or stele is a inscribed stone. A stele or stele is a...
Inscribed
It's not for my minutes for you, it's okay. Ramses' numerous monuments adorn the Nile, from Abu Simbel to Memphis, Tennessee. You gotta be kidding me. Look over there. You see Memphis?
Yep.
I don't see Abu, whatever, but I see Memphis. Okay. On the Nile. Must be down south some. Ramses' son, Merneptah, listed Israel among several groups in Canaan he claimed to have defeated about 1230 BC. So we're trying to show that Israel existed way back then. This Israel stele, inscribed stone, is noteworthy because it contains the earliest non-biblical reference to Israel. When? 1230 BC. Some folks argue, our critics, that Israel wasn't around. This is like something made up, in recent years.
Seems to be.
So, well, we got an inscribed stone dated 1230 BC, Ramses' son. The relevant part of the text states, carried off as Ashkelon, seized upon as Gezer. And Noam is made as that which does not exist. Israel is laid waste, his seed is not. Aha! Right, life in Egypt, governed by a god. The ancestors of Israel found in Egypt a way of life very different from Canaan. Egypt belonged to the Pharaoh, who ruled the land as a divine king. As the son of Re, so they say, and the incarnation of the falcon god Horus, what kind of stuff have you been eating? And the son of the sun god Re, and the incarnation of the falcon god Horus.
I think they were smoking.
Yeah, or smoking. The Pharaoh exercised complete authority over all aspects of life. He functioned as the mediator between the gods and men. The Pharaoh did, wow. So, Pharaoh was the son of who? They thought? Re. Not David Ray, but Ray. And the incarnation of the falcon god Horus. You say, why do we have to know that? Because it's going to stick in your head going, that's weird. It's a rural society. Egypt essentially was a rural land with few large cities. The average Egyptian peasant farmer lived in one of the numerous villages or crowded towns scattered along the Nile. Unbaked mud made into bricks was what furnished the building materials for both peasant house and palace alike. What was?
Unbaked mud.
Unbaked mud, made into bricks, yeah. All people were expected to participate in the agricultural work so vital to Egypt's well-being. Oh, interesting. The Egyptians employed conscripted labor to work in the fields or occasionally on royal building projects. More affluent Egyptians that were called up for work could pay someone to take their place or bribe an official to keep their name off the list. What work? Not me. An additional source of labor came from the slave population. You know where this is going to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Israelites. Like all ancient societies, the Egyptians used slaves in many ways. As domestic servants and field workers, in the army, for government service, and on building projects. Some slaves were Egyptian criminals drawn from prisons, but the majority of slaves were foreigners, captured in the numerous wars or purchased as slaves from merchants. Many were called Asiatics from Palestine and Syria. A lot of slaves in Egypt varied, but overall they were treated humanely. The life of a slave often differed little from that of an Egyptian peasant farmer, and could be far better if the slave belonged to a wealthy master. So don't think of it as, oh, they mistreated them so badly. Back then. I'm not talking about slaves like African slaves and how they were treated at all. In fact, you look at slavery in the Bible, you do that study, it's interesting. It's a Bible word.
And the masters loved their slaves.
Yeah, so God, I'm not saying He designed slavery, but He permitted it, and you were required to, because we think of the word slave as somebody being whipped. That's not what it was. It's basically a servant, but it was contracted. All right, so be careful. They're not in cages, like you think of, maybe.
You could even be adopted.
You could be adopted in the family. Yeah, so we just got to get the, what's the stigma? Stigma was slave in our minds. Somewhat out, not totally out though. Yes, sir.
Well, and a slave could even go from a slave to second in command, maybe?
Yeah. Yep, yeah, exactly.
It's like, this was before.
Like Joseph, yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go on and go 99. So the slave often differed little. Okay. However, the Hebrews discovered the darker side of Egyptian life when a pharaoh, unsympathetic to their kind, reversed their favored status, conscripted as common field laborers, and forced to construct the store cities of Python and Ramses, building Walmarts and Sam's Clubs. The ancestors of Israel found themselves despised foreigners in Egypt, their house of bondage. Seemingly forgotten by the God of their forefathers, The Hebrews groaned under the excessive burden imposed on them by Egyptian taskmasters. And we know the story. So this is biblical geography. It helps us relive Israel's history. Also looking at maps and learning. Thank you. Take a break.